Welcome to day 2 of 8th grade speeches. Today we celebrate the hard work, dedication, and personal growth of our students as they share their speeches they have developed over the past 12 weeks. This journey began with an important decision, choosing a topic. That sparked curiosity. From there, students researched and gathered facts. Then came the writing process, where they carefully structured their speeches, ensuring their words would inform their audience. But the work didn't stop there. Over the past few weeks, they practiced daily, refining their delivery, building confidence, and preparing to stand before all of you today. This experience has been more than just writing and speaking. It has been about finding our voices, learning to express ourselves, and growing into confident communicators. So as we listen today, let us celebrate not only the words spoken, but the effort and courage behind them. Please join me in prayer before we begin. Dear God, we come before you today with hearts full of gratitude. Thank you for guiding us through this journey. We ask for your presence among us. Grant your speaker confidence, clarity, and peace as they share their words. May our speeches inspire and uplift, and may we continue to grow into the people you have called us to be. Bless our classmates as we take the steps in our journey. In your name we pray, amen. Please welcome Dee Cal, who is speaking about the role of cats in ancient Egypt.
When you think of ancient Egypt, what comes to mind? Maybe pharaohs, pyramids, mummies, and even cats covered in gold and jewelry. Cats were incredibly important to the Egyptians, and their significance shows up in history, culture, and art. But why were cats so important to the people of ancient Egypt? To understand this, we should look at the role cats played in Egyptian society and their connection to the gods. In ancient Egypt, cats were seen as sacred animals, symbols of protection and good fortune. The Egyptians believed that cats were connected to their gods, and many gods were shown to have feline characteristics or were depicted with cat-like features. One such god was Bastet, the goddess of home, fertility, and protection. She was often shown as a woman with the head of a cat, and people believed she protected the home and the family, bringing good health and safety. Bastet became a symbol of everything the Egyptians loved about cats, and the protection of cats made them revered creatures. Another reason cats were so important in Egypt was their relationship with the sun. Cats are known to love basking in the sunlight, and this behavior made them appear closely connected to the sun Ra. Ra was one of the most powerful gods in Egypt, and the Egyptians believed that the sun itself brought life to the land. Because cats enjoyed the warmth of the sun, they were often linked with Ra. Their love of sunlight made them seem like the sun god's earthly companions. Cats were also considered symbols of bravery and justice. Cats were also considered symbols of bravery and justice. Many of the gods were warriors and protectors, and they were often depicted with feline heads or traits to represent their powerful qualities. Mafta and Sekhmet were two warrior goddesses shown with lioness heads, both known for their strength and protection. These gods and goddesses helped explain why cats were associated with such noble qualities. In everyday Egyptian life, cats were treated with great respect. They were often seen wearing jewelry and ornaments, symbolizing their high status in society. The royal families in particular kept cats as pets, and these animals were much loved and cared for. Cats were seen as companions, and Egyptians would take them along on hunting trips, or even have them eat meals with them. Cats didn't sit on the floor like ordinary animals. They sat on the table with their owners and ate from the same plates. This showed just how special cats were to the Egyptians. When a cat died, the loss was deeply mourned. The Egyptians would mourn the death of their beloved cats by shaving off their eyebrows. This mourning period lasted until their eyebrows grew back. To ensure the cat's spirit lived on in the afterlife, they were often mummified, just like humans. Many cats were buried with their owners so they could be together in the afterlife. Killing a cat, whether on purpose or by accident, was considered a serious crime, and in some cases it could lead to the death penalty. Special cemeteries were even created for cats, emphasizing their importance and divine connection to the gods. The Egyptians' respect for cats was also shown in their art. Cats were often featured in paintings, sculptures, and other artworks. Some of the most famous images of ancient Egypt include hieroglyphs and carvings of cats. Many of these images can still be seen today in museums or historical sites. Cats were so important that they were even symbolized on objects like the sistrum, an instrument used in religious ceremonies. Artists would sometimes decorate statues, paintings, and jewelry with cat-like images to honor the the strongest pieces of evidence for the Egyptians' reverence for cats is the practice of mummification. Archaeologists have found many mummified cats, sometimes adorned with jewelry or scarab, which show that they were seen as divine creatures. In fact, over 100 cat statues have been discovered in Egypt, further proving how much cats were respected and adored by the Egyptians. The mummification of cats was not just about preserving their bodies, but about ensuring they could live forever, just like the gods they were believed to be connected to. In conclusion, the reverence for cats in Egypt was not just a cultural trend, but a deep spiritual belief. Because of this, cats were treated with the utmost respect and were seen as royal and sacred. They were not only companions to the people of Egypt, but also a symbol of protection, justice, and goodwill. Their role in Egyptian society was so important that even after their deaths, they were honored and mummified in special tombs. The deep connection between cats and the gods of ancient Egypt explains why cats continue to be admired and loved today, just as they were thousands of years ago. Thank you. Please welcome Abigail Reed, who is speaking about Stephen King.
Have you ever wanted to read a horror story that leaves you shocked and scared? Stephen King, known as the King of Horror, is one of America's most famous writers. He has written over 70 stories, many of which have been turned into movies and TV shows. King's stories are influenced by his childhood, his personal struggles, and his deep understanding of human emotions. His rise to success, his inspirations from his own life, and classic authors like Edgar Allan Poe, and his influence on movies and books make him a true master of horror. Stephen King often takes inspiration from his childhood when writing his books. He was born in September of 1947 and spent parts of his early years in Connecticut and Indiana. When he was 11, he and his older brother, David, moved to Durham, North Carolina. She took care of her parents while her sisters helped her with money and housing. Later, King attended the University of Maine and earned a degree in English. He was involved in the student government and wrote for the school newspaper, the Maine Canvas. After college, he married Tabitha Spruce, another young writer. He was qualified to teach English at a high school level, but he also continued writing stories. However, his big break didn't happen right away. King's rise to fame was slow at first. He was 27 years old when he published his first novel, Carrie. This book was inspired by his time as a high school janitor. Carrie is a story about a bullied teenage girl with incredible psychic abilities. At first, King actually threw away his first drafts, but his wife found them in the trash and encouraged him to finish. This decision changed his life because Carrie was a huge success and helped him out of financial trouble. Before Carrie was published, King and his wife struggled to pay their bills. They mostly relied on King's job at a linen factory to survive. In 1971, he finally got a job as a high school English teacher. He kept writing every day and sold some of his short stories to men's magazines. Even though money was tight, he never stopped writing, which shows his determination and love for storytelling. Many of his stories are based on his own childhood experiences. In his memoir, On Writing, A Memoir of the Craft, King shares that many places from his hometown show up in his books. For example, the junkyard that he and his brother used to visit as kids was written into It, one of his most famous books. He calls this place the Barrens in the story. Many of King's books are influenced by his early life, but he also looks up to other authors, especially Edgar Allan Poe. One of King's biggest inspirations is Edgar Allan Poe. Throughout his career, he has mentioned that Poe's writings influenced him. Poe, a 19th century writer and poet, is known as the architect of modern short stories. He wrote classics like The Telltale Heart and The Raven, aiming to create fear and suspense in his readers. King does the same thing in his books, using psychological horror to shock and terrify people. His ability to create fear in such a unique way makes him stand out from other authors. King has a very distinct way of telling stories. While many writers focus on extraordinary characters in normal situations, King often places ordinary people in extreme, supernatural, or terrifying situations. This makes his books more interesting because readers can imagine how they would react if they were in those situations. This writing style has helped him create many successful books, which have led to some of the most famous horror movies of all time. King's influence on movies and television is massive. Over 70 films and TV shows have been based on his books. Some of the most well-known ones include Stand By Me, It, and The Green Mile. Several of his books have been adapted multiple times, including Carrie, Pet Sematary, and It Chapter 1. Some of the most memorable horror scenes in film history come from King stories. The bloody prom scene in Carrie, the terrifying Here's Johnny moment in The Shining, and Pennywise's creepy clown smile in It are just a few examples. King's imagination has brought nightmares to life, making his stories unforgettable for audiences around the world. Stephen King's journeys to success, his inspirations from his personal life and authors like Edgar Allan Poe, and his impact on movies and books make him a true master of horror. His ability to make people feel genuine fear and intense emotion is incredible. His lasting impact on literature and film proves that his stories will continue to haunt readers and audiences for generations to come. Stephen King's work remains just as popular today as it was decades ago, making him a true legend of horror storytelling. Thank you. Please welcome Thomas Oliver, who is speaking on the Stanley Hotel.
Imagine being alone in a huge hotel, convinced it's haunted. That's exactly what happened to Stephen King when he stayed at the Stanley Hotel. The Stanley Hotel, located in Colorado, is one of the most haunted yet beautiful places for tourists and paranormal enthusiasts. It has been voted the most haunted place in America because of its eerie stories and ghostly encounters, but have you ever wondered about its origins? The history of the Stanley Hotel starts with Lord Dunwoody. He arrived in Estes Park, Colorado in 1872 looking for a fresh start. He was drawn to the area because of its hunting opportunities and business potential. However, there was a problem. American citizens were only allowed to own 320 acres of land, and as an Irish citizen, he couldn't take advantage of this deal. To get around this, he hired American Theodore White to help him buy land in multiple purchases. Eventually, Dunwoody acquired around 6,400 acres of land in Estes Valley for about $38,000. However, after building the hotel, he lost interest in Estes Park and returned to Ireland, never coming back. Freeland Oscar and Francis Edgar Stanley were born on June 1, 1849. They were smart and creative, becoming successful businessmen by inventing the Stanley Stewart car and developing the Dracula Photography Company. In 1903, F.O. was diagnosed with tuberculosis and moved to Estes Park, Colorado, where the fresh air was believed to help his lungs. Upon arrival, he saw the town's potential for tourism and wanted to improve it. He and his wife Flora bought land in Estes Park to build a home. But he also worked to improve the town. He replaced dirt roads with pavement, which later became part of what is now U.S. Highway 36. F.O. saw an opportunity to buy Lord Dunwoody Hotel. He partnered with Burton D. Sanborn in Greeley, Colorado, to purchase the hotel and the surrounding area. F.O. had a vision for the hotel. He wanted to create a luxurious resort that would attract tourists from all over. With the help of 2 architects, he built an 140-room hotel on the rocky cliffs of Estes Park. The total cost of construction was around $17 million. This grand hotel was unlike anything the town had ever seen and helped transform Estes Park into a wealthy tourist destination. Despite his success, F.O. only owned the Stanley Hotel for less than 2 decades. In 1914, his close friend and business partner, Burton D. Sanborn, passed away. This loss deeply affected him. Sanborn's son took over, but eventually sold the hotel back to F.O. in 1917. Then, in 1918, F.O.'s twin brother, F.E., died in a tragic car accident. Heartbroken, F.O. began selling his land. Between 1917 and 1926, he recorded 36 land sales in the county clerk's office in Fort Collins, Colorado. The Great Depression further impacted F.O.'s finances, and by 1926, he decided to sell the hotel to a group of investors from Milwaukee. However, financial struggles continued, and the hotel fell back into Stanley's hands. At 81 years old, he didn't want to own the hotel anymore, so he sold it again for $75,000. Over the next 50 years, the Stanley Hotel saw many changes, including more guests and financial troubles. But one event in 1974 will forever change its reputation. In 1974, horror author Stephen King and his wife visited the Stanley Hotel. They planned a quiet weekend getaway in Estes Park. Since it was the last night before the hotel closed for the season, they were the only guests to stay in room 217. That night, King had a terrifying nightmare in which his son was chased by a fire hose. He woke up in a panic, smoked a cigarette, and came up with the entire plot for his next novel, The Shining. The Shining, published in 1977 and adapted into a movie in 1980. The Shining made the Stanley Hotel famous worldwide. Room 217 became legendary, with reports of paranormal activity. Some say the unmarried couple should avoid staying there because the ghostly presence disapproves. One couple even reported that their bed was strangely made up around them while they slept. The Stanley Hotel also has a pet cemetery and underground caves that staff once used to navigate the building. With its eerie past and connection to The Shining, it became a hotspot for ghost hunters and horror fans. Despite its fame, the hotel struggled financially and fell into bankruptcy. That changed in April 1996 when businessman John Cullen and the Grand Heritage Control Group placed an $100,000 bid to buy the Stanley Hotel. The hotel's then manager, Frank Normali, had been trying to keep the business running but couldn't keep up with the costs. During the auction, the first bid was an astonishing $10 million, and Cullen thought he would have won. However, the court rejected the first bid due to legal issues. A second bid came from a California hotel investor but was also rejected. Finally, Cullen's bid was accepted, and he became the hotel's new owner. Thanks to advances in technology and tourism, Cullen turned the Stanley Hotel into a successful business. He credits the internet and improved transportation for helping it regain popularity. Today, the Stanley Hotel remains a popular destination for tourists, horror fans, and paranormal investigators from all over the world. The Stanley Hotel's history is filled with fascinating stories, from its early days of Lord Darwin to FO's transformation of the property. Its connection to The Shining only added to its mystery and beauty. Whether you're interested in hauntings, luxury stays, the Stanley Hotel is a place that captures the imagination. Who knows, if you ever visit, you might experience something paranormal yourself. Thank you. Please welcome Bradley McCarley, who is speaking about Naomi's Village.
There are over 11 million children in Kenya living in poverty. Bob and Julie Ndonza, along with many others, have accepted God's call to help address the poverty crisis in Kenya. Through the founding of Naomi's Village, they have become God's hands and feet, providing shelter, education, and fellowship for impoverished children in Kenya. Naomi's Village is an orphanage that houses and educates children struggling with poverty. Located in rural Kenya, where many families live in extreme hardship, the orphanage offers a safe haven. Julie Ndonza informed me that there are over 2 million Kenyan orphans, and 40% of the population survives on less than $1 a day. In total, 11 million children in Kenya experience multidimensional poverty, meaning they lack the basic necessities to live. This level of poverty is staggering. While we might spend $10 without thinking, for many in Kenya that is 10 times what they have to live on for a single day. Bob and Julie Ndonza are the founders of Naomi's Village, Cornerstone Preparatory Academy, and Leap Preschool. I had the opportunity to interview Julie Ndonza, and she shared her impressions of the Kenyan children she encountered on mission trips. She was shocked by the statistics. Only 25% of Kenyan children graduate high school, and just 3% earn a college degree. They decided to take action. They met children living out these statistics, heard their stories, and formed connections. In 2008, the Ndonzas permanently moved to Kenya and established Naomi's Village Home to house and support homeless and impoverished children. Later, they expanded their mission by opening additional programs in schools. The first initiative was Naomi's Village Home, which Julie Ndonza shared, currently houses around 95 orphans. These children receive shelter, meals, and a nurturing environment centered on Christian values. Faith plays a central role in their daily lives with regular devotions and fellowship activities. In 2013, Cornerstone Preparatory Academy was founded. Today, approximately 450 children are enrolled. The school's mission is to raise and educate children who become change makers in their communities. Julie Ndonza informed me that Cornerstone provides a safe and supportive learning environment, especially important in Kenya, where many schools are overcrowded and abusive. To further support early education, the Ndonzas launched additional programs. After establishing Cornerstone, the Ndonzas realized that many incoming students were not prepared for elementary school. Later, they introduced the Mtoto program, Swahili for Baby, to provide even earlier intervention. The Mtoto program educates expectant mothers about pregnancy, childbirth, and infant care. Kenyan nurses visit homes bi-weekly to offer support and guidance, ensuring healthier beginnings for children. Despite the success of these programs, Naomi's Village still relies heavily on outside support through donations, sponsorships, and mission trips. Visiting Naomi's Village on a mission trip offers the chance to engage with the children and participate in activities at Leap Preschool and Cornerstone Preparatory Academy. Volunteers prepare activities, read to children, and form meaningful connections with the communities. A mission trip is also an eye-opening cultural experience. Nicole May described her visit to Naomi's village as a time when she has never felt God's presence so strongly. Sponsoring a child is another way to support Naomi's village. Sponsorship funds are pooled to care for all children, covering necessities such as food, education, and healthcare. According to Nicole May, sponsors can also build personal connections with their children through video calls, which not only strengthen relationships, but also help to improve the child's English skills. Mission trips and sponsorships are just two ways to get involved. Naomi's Village also hosts events to raise awareness and support. Every October, Naomi's Village organizes a 5K event to bring communities together. Medonza explained that participants in the U.S. can form teams and run at the same time as those in Kenya. St. Luke Church has played a significant role in supporting Naomi's Village. Lee and Suzanne McCluskey first visited Kenya in 2004 and met Bob and Julie Medonza. Upon returning home, they shared their experiences, sparking interest in the mission. When Naomi's Village officially opened, Lee and Suzanne McCluskey led a team to from St. Luke Church to visit. The church continues to promote child sponsorships and mission trips. The Medonzas visit St. Luke Church twice a year to share updates. The first time I heard them speak, I knew I wanted to be involved. Thanks to St. Luke Church, I now have the opportunity to go to Naomi's Village on a mission trip this summer. Naomi's Village is an extraordinary place with a powerful mission. From its inspiring founding story to its impact on children's lives through education and care, the organization has transformed the future for many in Kenya. Currently supporting over 550 children, Naomi's Village provides numerous ways for families to contribute. Consider how you can be a part of this life-changing mission and help bring hope to children in need. Thank you. Please welcome Max Champion, who is speaking on ninjas.
You've probably heard of ninjas, whether from TV shows like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or just thinking they were. But do you know where they actually came from? Ninjas are an important part of Japanese history and culture, and their influence has lasted far beyond their time. Even though the Japanese government used their shield until recently, ninjas remain a fascinating part of the past. Ninjas have been around for a long time. According to an article written by History, historians believe that their origins date back as far as the 12th century. That means that they were around for a lot of Japan's history. In the early years, ninjas weren't well known or widely used, but there were probably only a few of them at first. Even though they started out small, their history runs deep and they quickly became important. Even in their early years, ninjas played key roles in major conflicts. In the same history article, the author says ninjas played important roles in the Nemicocha Wars from 1336 to 1392, and the Warring States periods from 1467 to 1568. This shows that by the time they had been around for 300 years, they were finally being seen as useful. These wars helped ninjas gain recognition, and they started being used more often in wars, where their main jobs were working for samurai. During times of war, samurai would often hire ninjas to help them. And the thoughtful article says samurai would often hire ninjas to do the dirty work of war, like assassination, so their honor would not be tarnished. Samurai followed a strict honor code that required them to fight in face-to-face combat. Ninjas, on the other hand, didn't have the tools and used whatever tactics necessary to win. This led to an interesting relationship between the two because the samurai needed ninjas but also needed to fear them. While samurai came from wealthy, powerful families, most ninjas came from very different backgrounds. Most ninjas were from noble families. That same thoughtful article says most lower-ranking ninjas were farmers and villagers who learned ninjutsu to protect themselves. These lower-level ninjas used whatever necessary methods they could to survive, including poison, but mainly relied on stealth and combat skills. Some ninjas came from noble families or former samurai who had lost their honor, but this was rare. Even though they were just regular people, their mask and secretive nature made them seem mysterious and scary, which led to a lot of myths about them. Ninjas helped spread exaggerated stories about themselves to make their enemies afraid. An article by the Way of the Ninjas says people never knew much about ninjas, so they would often spread exaggerated stories to create fear. Since ninjas operated in secret, not so much was known about them, so rumors spread easily. They took advantage of this by pushing these myths to make themselves seem even more dangerous. Ninjas remained active for centuries, and their missions lasted much longer than you might expect. The last recorded ninja mission happened when Japan wanted to spy on an American ship. An article by Kei Chandigarh talks about this and says the final publicly recorded ninja mission was when Japan wanted to investigate an American ship's intent. The mission did not find any evidence of the Americans being suspicious, so Japan decided to trust them. It's amazing that ninjas were still being used as spies in the 19th and 20th centuries since they have existed since the 12th century. Even though this last mission didn't reveal anything suspicious, it showed that ninjas were still trusted with important tasks. However, just because traditional ninjas aren't around anymore doesn't mean that they have gone away. People still study the art of ninjutsu today. According to an article written by the Ninja Museum of Iguru, ninjutsu is the art of warfare that the ninjas used, and a person who studies ninjutsu is considered a ninja. While modern ninjas aren't spies or assassins, some dojos, martial arts schools in Japan, still teach traditional ninjas. Many of these dojos are in Iga and Koga, which were the two main ninja regions where ninjas came from. While ninjas still exist in this way, most people today know them from pop culture. Ninjas are a fairly new addition to pop culture. According to an article written by Tokyo Creative, ninjas made their first appearance in Western culture in the James Bond movie Roll Ninja Twice. This 1967 film helped introduce ninjas to Western audiences, and they quickly became popular. Since then, they've appeared in many more movies and TV shows, including Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Lego Ninjago, and many more. However, many of these portrayals are not accurate. Most pop culture depictions of ninjas are exaggerated or incorrect. According to a BBC News article, there are not many documents on ninjas' jobs and appearances, so much of the fiction made about them is dramatized or not true. Many fictional ninjas wear pitch black outfits, but real ninjas usually wore disguises to blend in, and if they did wear a darker outfit, it was typically navy blue because it supposedly blended in better at night. While pop culture doesn't always get the fine details right, it helped keep the legend of the ninja alive. Ninjas will always be remembered whether for their real impact on history or their countless appearances in pop culture. Most people know at least a little bit about ninjas, but there's so much more to their story. Learning about ninjas helps us understand their lasting influence on Japan and the world. Their legacy will continue for decades and maybe even centuries to come. Thank you. Please welcome Luke Atkinson, who's speaking on the web.
LEGO is one of the most popular and well-known toy brands in the world, but its history is full of fascinating twists and turns. Founded in Denmark in 1932, LEGO started as a small wooden toy company before evolving into the colorful plastic brick system we all know today. Over the years, LEGO has grown from a simple building toy into a global phenomenon, inspiring creativity and imagination of all people alike. Olker Christensen, the founder of LEGO, had a background that helped him create one of the most successful toy companies in history. He began his career as a carpenter and completed an apprenticeship under his brother, Preston Kirk Christensen. After this, he earned his journeyman certificate and joined the Danish army, and he was stationed at the Citadel in Copenhagen. When he finished his military service, he married his wife Christine and started a carpentry business. However, life was not always easy for Christensen, and he had faced several challenges that tested his perseverance. Christensen's business was thriving, and he had built a solid reputation as a skilled carpenter. He and his wife had 4 sons, and their future seemed bright. However, tragedy struck when one of his children accidentally set off a pile of wood chips on fire, burning down both the family home and his workshop. To make matters worse, the world economy was struggling, making Christensen lay off most of his workers. Around the same time, he also suffered the heartbreaking loss of his wife. With no home, no business, and 4 children to take care of, Christensen was left with nothing. But instead of giving up, he found a way to turn struggles into success. After losing his business and wife, Christensen needed to find a way to provide for his children. As a skilled carpenter, he began making wooden toys in 1932 including ducks, vehicles, and playhouses. He hoped to sell these toys to stores, but his first major buyer went bankrupt, leaving him without income. Determined to survive, Christensen went out and traded his toys for food, ensuring that his children and him would have enough to eat during the winter months. His perseverance paid off, and his toys were successful, allowing him to rehire some of his former workers and officially start a new company. As Christensen's toy business grew, he decided to give it a name. He thought carefully and eventually chose Lego, which comes from the Danish words "leg-godt," meaning play well. The name was fitting because his toys encouraged creativity and fun. His wooden toys became so popular that he started selling them to European countries, bringing in more money and allowing his business to expand even further. However, another disaster struck in 1942 when a fire destroyed most of his blueprints and designs. Despite this setback, Christensen did not give up and rebuilt his company once again. By 1946, Christensen was looking for a new way to improve his toys. That year, he attended a toy convention and discovered a plastic molding machine. Seeing its potential, he purchased the machine and started experimenting with small teddy bears. At the convention, he also saw a plastic building block, which inspired him to create something even better. In 1947, Christensen began developing a plastic brick that could be built into different structures, although the first versions did not interlock well and were not sturdy enough. Christensen and his son, Godfred, worked tirelessly to improve this design. In 1949, Godfred Christensen found a way to make the bricks interlock more securely, making them more stable and fun to use. The new Lego bricks were unlike anything seen before, and people quickly fell in love with them. In 1958, old Kurt Christensen passed away, and his son Godfred took over the company. That same year, the Lego brick was officially patented, meaning only Lego could produce these unique interlocking bricks. Over time, wooden toys were phased out, and the colorful Lego plastic brick became the company's main focus. Under Godfred's leadership, Lego expanded even further. The first Lego sets were based off of urban themes, including houses and small vehicles. Later, the company introduced theme parks like Legoland and began selling its products internationally. Godfred continued to innovate until his death in 1995, after which his son Kurt Christensen took over the company. Lego kept growing and introducing new sets and product lines that appealed to both kids and adults. By the year 2000, Lego was voted Toy of the Century, securing its place as one of the most popular and well-known toy brands in history. Today, Lego sets cover a wide range of themes, including Star Wars, Minecraft, Marvel, Duplo, Friends, Technic, and more. Lego conventions allow fans to share their creative builds, while Lego video games bring their brand into a digital world. The company has also played a major role in education, helping kids develop problem-solving and engineering skills. Every day, Lego sets are seen around the world, but few people know the story behind them. The company's success was built on perseverance, creativity, and innovation. Lego has influenced generations, encouraging them to use their imagination and build their dreams. Today, Lego still remains one of the most popular and well-known toy brands in the world, securing its place as one of the most famous toy companies and bringing joy to people of all ages. Thank you. Please welcome Hunter Carlson, who is speaking on the Bermuda Triangle.
The Bermuda Triangle is one of the most mysterious places on Earth. Many people have different opinions on what actually happens in this area. Stories of disappearing ships and airplanes, along with strange navigation issues, have caused interest in the Bermuda Triangle alive for many years. The Bermuda Triangle is a section of the Atlantic Ocean, but many people believe it has a powerful effect on ships and planes that pass through. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, it is located between Bermuda, the Greater Antilles, and the United States. While it seems like a normal part of the ocean, its history of strange occurrences make it stand out. Despite the myths and legends, ships and planes still pass through the triangle today. The area is home to many islands, and people continue to live and travel there without concern. If it were truly as dangerous as some believe, it is unlikely that so many people would still visit and travel to it today. The Bermuda Triangle has a history of mysterious disappearances dating back almost 200 years. According to the Encyclopedia Britannica, reports of strange events in this area began in the mid-1800s, including the disappearance of around 50 ships and 20 planes. These unexplained incidents have made many people question whether the Bermuda Triangle is truly dangerous. While it may appear to just be another body of water, its history has left people wondering about the real cause of these tragedies. However, researchers have worked to find logical explanations for these disappearances. One of the most likely explanations for the incidents in the Bermuda Triangle is the weather. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, the ocean is known for having frequent thunderstorms and hurricanes, which can create massive waves. These natural events could easily lead to shipwrecks and plane crashes. Strong winds, heavy rains, and rough seas make sailing through this region very challenging. Additionally, human error could also be responsible for some of these accidents. Many scientists and experts believe that the Bermuda Triangle is not as mysterious as it seems, but rather an area with difficult weather conditions that makes travel dangerous. Despite this logical explanation, some cases remain unsolved. One of the most well-known disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle happened in 1918 when the U.S. Navy ship vanished without a trace. According to Go to Bermuda, the ship had 306 crew members on board and no wreckage was ever found. It is unusual for such a large ship to disappear without any explanation. While it is possible that bad weather and mechanical failure caused the ship to sink, it is unlikely that the lack of evidence makes the disappearance even more mysterious. This case could fuel speculation that something strange might be happening in the Bermuda Triangle. Another famous incident occurred in 1945 when 5 bomber planes took off for a training mission over the Bermuda Triangle. According to Go to Bermuda, the planes disappeared and no wreckage was ever found. While some believe that the pilots became disoriented and crashed into the ocean, others find it suspicious that multiple planes vanished at the same time. The fact that these disappearances keep happening in this area has led to many theories about what might be causing them. However, scientific evidence still points to natural causes rather than supernatural. Despite these mysterious stories, there is plenty of evidence to suggest that the Bermuda Triangle is not as mysterious as some people believe. According to Johnny Harris, a study found that only 0.02% of ships traveling through the area have gone missing. This is an extremely low percentage, showing that ships and planes pass through without any problems. Many conspiracy theorists take the few disappearances that have occurred and create theories that may not be based on facts. Some believe in ideas such as Atlantis or alien abductions, but there is no real evidence to support these theories. Scientists do not recognize the Bermuda Triangle as a public hazard. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, world maps do not officially label it as a unique location, and the U.S. government does not consider it to be dangerous. Ships and planes continue to travel to the area regularly, and most people do not worry about it. Researchers and experts who have studied the Bermuda Triangle do not see it as anything unusual, and the evidence supports the idea that it is a simply normal part of the ocean. Although some people believe that the Bermuda Triangle is a mysterious and dangerous place, there is no real evidence to support these claims. Most of the incidents that have occurred in this area can be explained by natural causes such as bad weather or human mistakes. While the legend of the Bermuda Triangle will likely to continue to capture people's imaginations, the facts show that it is no different from any other part of the ocean. Those who look closely at the evidence will realize there is nothing truly mysterious about the Bermuda Triangle. Thank you.
Give them one more round of applause. Parents and guests are welcome to stay and visit for a few minutes, and then middle schoolers, time to go back. Thank you for being here.
Great job, Hunter.
Good job, Hunt.
We're going this way. We're going this way.
We're leaving Ruby.
No.
Yeah, so I looked at him for like half of it.
Nobody just had your own bedroom. I used to rent apartments like that. State television and I was just but he might even go to like University of Mobile or somewhere where there's a coach. Not looking out that. I don't know if they're like I wasn't so cool, I started. I saw this child. Of course. Go back to my room.
You said you don't?
Girls, this way.
You don't want your jacket?
Through Stockholm.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, I'd be happy to take them a couple times on a day. I never even thought about it in middle school because I could see they get serious in high school. And fish in the big public reservoirs where you can go. But they catch a lot of fish for people that, say it was 7. I mean, if you're not, you catch them off the bank because it's just a perfect circular lake and it's big. So you can literally fish from the bank or on the nose that you're going out to like the little holes over there, like where they hang out and all that stuff. Yeah, so if you have something in mind, just let me know. Yeah, it's hard during baseball and golf, and when I only really travel, 15 times a year, but I do it all in the first, second quarter.
Okay.
So, and then I travel slows down.
Slows down.
I don't even know if it's-
Is it